Hi, my name is James Shepard. I'd like to thank you for taking time to watch this video or listen to the podcast episode. Today I want to talk to you about other creative ways that you can go prospecting, other creative ways to grab the prospect's attention. Now, again, I'm just trying to share a ton of content over the next few months that I have created while I've really been out talking to other credit card processing companies, sales teams, seeing what's working and what's not working. And one of the things that has really struck me as I've met with the top salespeople versus the ones that aren't doing so well is that the top salespeople and the top sales teams are so much more creative in the way that they grab their prospects' attention. Now, if you watch the last video or listen to the last podcast episode, what you're going to see or hear there is about how you can do a petition to accomplish this objective. But I realize that many of you might read that and think, oh, this is a little too involved for me. I don't want to have to, contact my U.S. congressman, and I don't want to have to do all these different things. I get that. So I wanted today to just share some other just random ideas with you of ways that you can grab your prospect's attention and how you can kind of change your opening pitch. So the key idea here is that you really have got to stop this idea of just this one pitch that you're always going to use. Because one of the things that I found and kind of realized is that when you're out in the field and you're actually talking to a merchant, what your goal is really to gather information and to make that strong connection. You're not really trying to sell them anything anyway when you first walk in the door. Even if you're doing a one-call close or a one-stop close, you still need to get that rapport and gather that information initially. So think way outside the box of what you normally would think of in terms of what you want to do with that merchant. So let me give you a couple of just really simple ideas. Number one is a survey, okay? You could do a survey. And so let me give you an example of this. Let's say that you went to all of the hair salons in your area, okay? And what if you went to all of them and just said, hey, I'm doing a survey right now because we're looking at getting into the salon marketplace, providing payment solutions. And I just had like 3 questions on a little survey. I'm just trying to gather some information so I can design the right program. Would you have a couple of seconds? I can just ask you a couple questions. Usually a salon owner in that case, unless they're very busy, they'll usually say yes, or they'll offer time when you can come back. Now you've got to make it look official. You have to actually have a survey. It also helps if you got a few things on there that it looks like you've already done a couple other people, so you've got some stuff filled in. And then you ask them some questions and ask them and say, how do you currently process payments? Do you have a software system that does this? Do you have, do you have a regular terminal? Does your terminal take chip cards yet? Questions you can ask. So, and again, you can obviously be really creative with this. You can do all kinds of different surveys. How long have you been with your current processor? How happy are you? Whatever it is. But really, what's going to happen is if you think about it, if you make a great opening, what are you going to get out of that? Well, what you're going to get out of that is that the merchant's going to say some really good stuff to you, like they're going to give you information and say, well, yeah, I've got this current company, I don't like them very much. That's what you're going to get out of a great opening pitch. So why not just bypass the opening pitch altogether sometimes, and you can just go in there and just ask them these questions as part of a survey, okay? So surveys work really good. The other idea that I wanted to give you is what I call show and tell. I've talked about this before. You can all go back to, first and second grade, right, when you had show and tell. And, which was cooler, for you to bring in your hamster and hold it in your hand and show people and let them pet your hamster, or to bring in a picture of your hamster and say, look at this picture of my hamster, it's so cool. No one wanted to see that. They wanted to touch the hamster. They wanted to pet the hamster. That's show and tell. So when you go into a merchant's location, use show and tell. Sometime this week, we're going to do the unboxing of the new Point terminal, which I love. It's a smart terminal and kind of a point of sale system all in one. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. You can look it up. It's POYNT. Or you can just watch this episode here in a couple days and we'll do a really cool unboxing and I'll show you how it works. But that's the kind of thing where, hey, if you can bring that with you as like a demo into the merchant's location, start talking to them about it, show them the different apps that are on there and how they can manage their business with it. Or Clover is another really good example. If you can, get a Clover, they have all kinds of different, talk to your processor, you can probably get some kind of a demo version of it, and you can go in and show them the new Clover Mini or the Clover Mobile or whatever. That's the kind of stuff that's really cool. At the very least, make sure you have demos ready to play on a tablet. So you can go in and say, hey, the reason I'm stopping by, I'm not here to sell you anything today, but I represent Clover. I'm sure you probably heard of them. They're the largest processor in North America, which is First Data, and they have made this Clover thing. It's really a cool system. And the reason I'm coming by today is I just have a demo that they've allowed me to share with local business owners. I just want to show you the demo so you're aware of it, and that way if you get to a point in the future where you want to upgrade your terminal to a point of sale system, you will have seen Clover and you can consider that. So here's the idea. When you go in, the idea is you have to convince them that you're not trying to sell them anything so that they'll drop their guard. Then you have to get information from them that you want, and you have to show them something that's going to satisfy their needs and pique their curiosity. If their guard is down, they're going to think that the Point Terminal is pretty cool. And if their guard is down, they're going to think Clover is pretty cool. They might even think a new VX520 or Ingenico terminal that takes the chip card and Apple Pay is pretty cool, So the idea here is you've got to get them to drop their guard. So you could take my ideas or you could just take something totally different. Think way, way, way outside the box. I'll give you one last one. I wasn't even going to share it, but I'll just share it with you because I've used it before and it's so effective. I'm working on something right now for self-storage units. And so we built like a self-storage software. And one of the ways that we're going to get leads is I'm going to do a weekly podcast for self-storage unit owners, property owners. And I'm going to interview a new self-storage property owner every week. It is the easiest thing ever. You reach out to them, hey, we have a podcast, it's about self-storage unit. I just want to interview you and ask you questions on my podcast that I share with other storage unit owners. Almost everybody says yes to that unless they're really shy. Most business owners like to share their story. You can do the same thing. Maybe you're in Charlottesville or whatever, and you can say, hey, I have a podcast for business owners in Charlottesville or in Nashville or in Orlando, and I just wanted to see if you'd be willing to come on the podcast and let me interview you. Have some questions ready, interview them. That's going to give you a special bond with that merchant and allow you to ask them questions about their business. Don't try to sell them on the podcast. Just ask them good questions. Make a great episode. When it's over, you talk to them. Hey, how is everything going with your business? Who are you processing with? Now you've got that inroad. So think way outside the box, super creative, and see if you can find out ways to get your prospects to let their guard down and share the information with you that you need to make the sale. My name is James Shepard. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.